The White House says these revelations about Jeff Sessions are just politics. We just heard a GOP congressman say right now it just gives him pause. He needs to know more. Well, here comes an Ohio congressman, a Democrat named Tim Ryan, and he says Sessions should resign. That is a very high bar. Why do you think we are at that point?
Well, I think it's pretty clear he lied. I mean, he said he was a surrogate, and he then went on to say he never had any meetings in any capacity with Russian officials, let alone the top Russian spy in the United States, Chris. And I think you put this in addition to Flynn lied. Trump has not shown his taxes. You go back to Manafort in the middle of the summer and his relationship with Russian folks in the Ukraine. What the hell's going on here? I mean, why is everybody lying?
I hear you, but let's give him his best defense, okay? And that would be lying would mean he wasn't just inaccurate under oath, which clearly he was, but that he knew that the contacts that he has had with Kislyak were relevant to his response and intentionally denied them. Do you believe that Jeff Sessions thought to himself, these meetings I've had matter, but I'm not going to mention them?
I can't get inside his head.
But that's why lie is a very high bar, and resigning is a very high bar.
I assume that he knew that he had these meetings in the summer and in September, and I'm assuming he knew he had these meetings, and then he's testifying before the United States Senate in a confirmation hearing in which telling the truth is essential to whether or not you'll get confirmed by the United States Senate, and he completely misled Al Franken and the Senate and the American people. And again, Chris, you can't just look at this as this one contact. It's Flynn. It's Trump not showing his taxes. We need to know what's going on here. It's the leaks that seem to have been very coordinated and the hacking that only affected one side of this presidential election. I mean, come on, we got to open up our eyes here. This is some serious stuff, and I will tell you, to hear Republicans kind of soft step this stuff is very, very troubling.
Why?
This is essential to our democracy. The current Attorney General was meeting with the Russians during a campaign of someone he endorsed. The National Security Advisor lied about conversations he was having with top Russian officials. The President of the United States has not released his taxes. We have no idea what his relationship is, monetarily or otherwise, with the Russian government. Meanwhile, the United States military is spending a lot of time, money, and resources dealing with the Ukrainian issue and what Russia has done in Ukraine, what Russia has done in Syria.
Right.
This is serious business.
The lack of transparency from Donald Trump is well reported. We mention it on a regular basis, that he will not turn over his taxes and other things. But you got to keep certain things separate. I'm not testing your theory that there's a lot of concern about this apparent sheltering of Russia by this White House. We ask those same questions. However, with Sessions, the defense of him right now is, I met with him in a capacity as a senator, not about the election. And in the written response to Leahy, you asked me about whether or not I had contact with any Russian about the election, and it wasn't about the election. Now, that is similar to what Flynn said in his defense of these discussions, that it wasn't about sanctions. You don't buy it.
The question is, why are you lying? Yeah, he said that after the reports that he had the meetings with the Russians. But before we knew that he had the meetings with the Russians, he was saying he didn't have any meetings with the Russians. The question then is, why are you people lying? I mean, it seems like we're dealing with a bunch of 12 and 13-year-old kids who get caught and they lie, and then you've caught them, and then they tell you the truth. It's like, don't lie. We are adults. This is serious business. Our relationship with Russia is tenuous. We are interfacing with them all over the globe. We're spending billions of taxpayer dollars dealing with the geopolitics dealing with Russia. We need to know what our relationship is with them, what our commander-in-chief's relationship is with them, what our national security advisor's relationship is with them, and what the attorney general's relationship is. These are honest questions. I don't dislike any of these people. I'm just saying, tell us the truth. The American people deserve the truth.
How concerned are you about what the worst implication is about what's going on here, and what can you do about it?
I don't know. I don't think Democrats should jump to conclusions. I think we need a bipartisan, bicameral investigation that is funded so that we can get to the bottom of all of this Russian business, from Trump to the election.
The pushback is you have the FBI looking at it now and 3 separate congressional committees. You're saying that's not enough, or it has to be different?
I think we need to do a 9/11 style commission. I think this goes to the heart of our democracy. This goes to the heart of our elections. This goes to the heart of whether a free people in the United States of America are electing their officials through a process that is protected and has integrity. And that is the highest level of responsibility that we have here in the United States Congress. And I think we should show the American people this is going to be done on a united front. We're going to take the politics out of this and just try to get to the answers. I mean, we have these fights, we have these relationships with a lot of different countries all over the world, but we are the beacon of democracy. We are the beacon of free elections. And if the integrity of our elections comes into question, that has a ripple effect throughout the world and damages our ability really to have the high ground when we go to countries and say, hey, you should build a democratic government here. You should allow the people to decide who their leaders are. If we can't protect and have that integrity in our own process, then we don't have any credibility around the world to say it to any other country.
Well, you're suggesting some very heavy implications, and there's no question that we need to know more. Congressman Ryan, thank you for making the case for your side here on New Day. You're always welcome.
Thank you, Chris.
All right, now,